What's up, guys? It's Maverick here, and today we're going to be turning this room into my new YouTube studio. Let's get started. So first what I did was I went over to Lowe's and I bought myself some PVC pipe. Now this PVC pipe that I used was 3/4 inch. I got two 5-foot PVC pipes and they cost about $2.40. You could buy a 10-foot one for about the same exact price, so just keep that in mind. But I didn't bring any pipe cutters with me, and so I wasn't able to fit it in my car, so I was forced to buy two 5-foot poles. Doesn't really matter, it was only $2 mistake, so not that big of a deal. The next thing I had to do was to make a stand for the 3/4 pipes to go into. Now, what I used for this was some 2x4s that I had lying on the side of my yard that weren't being used. Now, if you had to go buy some 2x4s, I'm not exactly sure how much that would cost, but for me, they were free. So what I did was I cut the 2x4s into basically 2-foot sections, and with a jigsaw. And after that, I used wood glue and nails to nail them in a cross pattern. I used wood glue and nails so that I would make sure that this thing was as durable as possible. Now, to make sure that the top board was even with the bottom one, I had to cut out little 2-inch blocks of 2x4 to put to the bottom of the top plank. Now, I did this so that it wouldn't wobble and it would stay as even as possible to hold these heavy objects such as this light and the reflector. After I was done doing that, I had to make the hole in the middle for the PVC pipe to fit in. Now, at Lowe's or Home Depot, I am sure that you can find a drill bit that can drill out 3/4 inch to fit inside of the wood for the pipe. However, I did not have this particular drill bit, and I actually had a drill bit that was just a tad too small, but I found it later, so it didn't really even matter. To drill the hole, I really used some just standard drill bits that you could use on wood, and I drilled it in a circle pattern. I then used a screwdriver and a hammer to chisel out a hole in the middle. Now, I did it this way so that I could show that anybody can do this, and it's not that hard to make this whole setup that I have right now that actually looks pretty good. So after I chiseled the holes for the PVC pipe, the next step was to make sure that the PVC pipe was firm and secure in the wood. And to do that, I used some liquid nail that I had lying around. So what I did was I put a generous amount of liquid nail inside of the hole so I could put the PVC pipe in. I then smoothed the edges, and I put some in between the cracks to make sure that the liquid nail would hold it in place as well as possible. I let the solution dry overnight, and I was able to pick it up in the morning without any problems. After that, I used a PVC pipe cutter to cut the two 3/4 inch PVC pipes to the height that I desired. One of them I cut to a length of about 2 feet, and the other one I cut to a length of about 3 feet, 3.5 feet. One of them was for the light, one of them was the reflector. And the reason for that is that in my original design plan, I wanted the light to shoot up at the reflector and bounce back down on my face. After I cut the PVC pipes, I added the T-bars and the other PVC pipe with the elbows to create kind of a field goal shape for the reflector to be attached onto. To attach the reflector, I used a windshield kind of reflector for the light, and I used some painter's tape to tape the reflector onto the field goal shaped stand. And the $10 light that I used from Amazon has a clamp on it, so it was able to clamp onto the T-bar quite nicely without any modification. After I had these two items secured, it was time to move on to the accent lighting. For the accent lighting, I used one light to light up the right part of my face to kind of give it a little bit of a glow so it wasn't so dramatic of a shot. To use this, I used another $10 Amazon light, and I hooked it onto a granola bar box, and I have it sitting on a desk that is on my right. Next, what I did is I wanted to add a little bit of color to the scene, and so I put Christmas lights that I had lying around from Christmas and put them inside of cardboard boxes And to show you how simple this technique is, there's a video of it that I did right here. And all I did was I took the Christmas lights, 2 strands of about 50 to 100, and put them inside of a Ritz cracker box and a Amazon box. I then just plugged it into the power outlet and placed it next to the wall, and it allowed the light to shoot directly upwards. And this gives it effect of sometimes over $100 lights that someone would use in their YouTube studio. I did these lights for free. After that, I used a Blue Yeti that I normally use in my videos and placed it in front of a stand in front of me, and I used some sound foam to create a little arch. Next, I just added the items in the background, a TV, a desk, and my desk light for just kind of props to add some interest into the background. It wasn't that important for me because these items I used anyway, and I didn't want to move them out of my workspace. For my camera, I used an iPhone 12 Pro Max with a $20 stand I bought off of Amazon. Now you could buy a lot cheaper stands, but because this phone is so heavy, I wanted to buy a full metal stand that was going to withhold the weight and make sure this locks it into place as stable as possible. I used a piece of cardstock paper and I clamped it onto the end of my phone so that the light on the right side of me does not go directly into the lens. I have a little video that kind of demonstrates what that would look like, and it gives a lens flare to the image, which I did not want in my final production. I just use a standard tripod for my holding the mount for my camera, and it works quite nicely for me. I have no idea what brand it is, but it works fine, and I had it around for free. Overall, this YouTube studio cost me about $25 to $30, and it was used with all household items that I was able to find around my house. Now, at your house, you may not have a lot of these items, and I encourage you to look around and see what else you can come up with to use for your own YouTube studio. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video, please subscribe for more content. I'm coming out with more videos in this YouTube studio to show you more what it looks like. Also, if you enjoy my content, please hit the like button because it helps with my YouTube algorithm. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.